I'm here with the sketchbook that I just finished, and I thought that I would start with showing you as I finished up some final pages in this book, just some little bits of me working in there, and then in a little bit we will jump right into a full sketchbook narrated flip through. So I started this sketchbook back in September of 2022, but I left this first page blank. I often do that. I'm intimidated by jumping into the first page, and I always think it needs to be something special, which is, it doesn't ever end up being, but I often make that be the last page that I actually finish. So here I am finishing up my title page for the sketchbook as my final bit to finish in the book. I often make this be like a quote or some saying or some encouragement about what the sketchbook is actually about, that it's not a book of beautiful things necessarily, but just a place to play and experiment and have fun. So let's look at my completed sketchbook. So this is a Stillman and Birn Zeta series mixed media sketchbook. I did enjoy this paper. It takes water media pretty well. It also is smooth enough that I felt like I could use pen and ink well in here, so that was nice as well. So this I think kind of expresses my sketchbook could be anything and everything, and it's just a place that's not what I'm trying to make be a masterpiece or limit myself to only pretty art. It could be ideas, it can be rough sketches, it could be turn into finished illustrations for my patrons, it could be all kinds of things. This page did become a digital download for my patrons, and I had a lot of fun making these, and that's an example where it did end up a finished product. This tree also became parts of some things around, in October. I did some like spooky themed things. As was this house, I just kind of sat down and watercolored. I was playing with some like days of the week, making them look spooky style. I was preparing here for a watercolor workshop, I think. I know this page has some gesso on the page first, and then I just played with watercolor on top of that, and I kind of like that effect. I have had fun doing some of those. Here I kind of played with, I put down a watercolor wash and then just kind of played with making these trees, evergreen trees on top, and then sprinkled some I believe whitewash on top. And then here I was just doing some more preparing for watercolor class. I do think maybe some bits of this ended up in my Patreon sheets as well. I went to a figure drawing session, and this was the thing I did during the figure drawing session, which I'm not good at figure drawing, which is why I was going to do a little practicing. But from this I made like a more animated version, like I might use in Patreon or other illustrations. I don't think this went anywhere. The ornaments, this was a project we did in our watercolor class, just kind of studying the effects of watercolor in layers. This I was just doing playing with some colors with some markers I had, and preparing for a workshop I had this summer on 60s, art from the 60s, and kind of that art movement, but I was playing with some colors and lettering and stuff, so that's what that is. So that's not necessarily anything, just some playing around. This did become a patron sheet. I actually drew it here, but then colored it digitally. So sometimes I do that. Most of the time I work physically in a sketchbook and then touch up on digitally if I use the digital. I don't do very much directly digital art, even though it is much quicker, and I just like the feel of that paper and the physical products and art mediums. So this was kind of a hybrid one where I drew it on here and then did the coloring digital. This was playing with some months, which I don't think I did anything with. I did use these though, the days of the week that took me forever to do these, all these little tiny embellishments on here, but it was fun to do. So that is also something my patrons got. This is just some notes from church and doodles. I have since moved into a designated journal that's just for that, so will be fun to have them all together. This was some more watercolor play for the holidays, different holiday themed things, and still more. Doing, trying out some different tools with using masking fluid. Here's some notes I took for the class, just doodling around, preparing for the new year, just doing some playing around with that. Another game night image. This is, this character was inspired by a movie. I don't think I've done anything with him yet either. And then here I'm looking ahead still to 2023 and the year of the rabbit, and this begins my rabbit bunny drawing obsession, which I just kind of went crazy. I just think they're kind of a fun and easy animal to draw, so I just had fun doing that. Some of them have become patron images and some have not become anything yet. This one will be available as a sticker. I believe this one soon will be. I don't think it is yet. Just more bunnies. More bunnies. Some future bunnies. Some ideas for some bunny illustrations that I hope to do. This was working out ideas for my dates for my patrons. I love this bunny. This is one of my favorites. And then I did penguins, got off of bunnies and onto penguins, so I had fun looking at different kinds of penguins. This one was kind of inspired by a Klimt piece with, he has a piece where it's got generations within the piece, and it doesn't look at all like this, but that gave me the idea to do these penguins, these baby penguins within the mama penguin. So that was fun. Then I started playing with the idea of yetis. Went from penguins to yetis. So this is, you know, playing with the idea of a yeti face. And then I started on some cats. This is a little oil. I was just trying out new oil pastels and did doodle this little cat, which I actually really like. And then I was kind of doodling up ideas for other cats, which may or may not go anywhere. More yetis. A different, I don't know if I would even call these yetis. Some kind of little monster people characters. Not sure what they are yet, but I had fun doing them. I kind of like them. I kind of like this little guy here. This is my daughter's dog that we dog sit for a lot, and as is this one. This one did get turned into, I did a little digital modification to it, and it has become a sticker. This one is not yet. I have a big Etsy product drop here coming. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I have tons of things to put on there, and so be watching for that. Some of these things I've mentioned are not yet on there, but hopefully will be soon. And then this is, I did quite a while back because I was deciding whether between jumping into this sketchbook or the Strathmore Mixed Media sketchbook, and I did the same back page on both of them using the same, like, different materials like watercolor and acrylic paint and gel pen, and I think there's some chalk pastel and different mediums I was trying out. And so that's what this page is, and there's a similar page in the back of my other sketchbook. In fact, this is that Strathmore sketchbook, and this is the back page that I did on that one. So that is how that ended up. And as you can see, my back page is always a clean off my brush page. So that has stayed consistent. And that brings me to the end, and I've already begun in my next sketchbook. So hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time.